Hi, how you doing? Sarah here. Just cutting up some old sheeting to make some little bags to hold sacred herbs like mugwort and wormwood for my upcoming medicine doll workshop circle, really. And I just just had a bit of an aha moment about my work generally, actually, that what I really love about making medicine dolls is that it's an intuitive process. It's not something that's set in stone. The way that I work and the way I show other people to work is using or really dipping into their intuition. And what occurred to me is that it's really like my intuitive painting classes I used to hold in Gozo. I haven't done any since I've been back in Wales, actually, but that's well, really because I haven't really had the space up until now. So maybe that's something I'll look at for the winter. But yeah, so the sewing that is required for medicine dolls is really intuitive. I don't, as I said, I don't show people, don't give them a designed idea about how to do it. And from all of my, I'll just show you a few, all of my different dolls, they're very, very different, all of them. This one, I'd like to think she was inspired by Lane Redmond's book, When the Drummers Were Women, which was a book that really changed my life early on in my shamanic path, if you like, in my medicine path. And this kind of represents that the women who were the priestesses, who were the spiritual leaders, if you like, long before patriarchy took over everything. So this is like a deer hide drum that I've got. And then this one is one that I'm just starting working on. It's got some really nice, very old, I think probably 18th century fabric that my aunt had got in a box, and I pulled it all out thinking, oh, well, I can make actually this altar cloth behind me is made from it. It was kind of the centerpiece, and I like to use that when I'm doing healing work. Anyway, it all fell apart because it's so fragile, but it's great to use little tiny bits of it in medicine dolls. And then, this one that kind of is an ancestor doll that I'll be working through with her energy for my upcoming class. It's not a class, it's a intuitive process circle. It's kind of what I want people to find their own way rather than me teaching anything in particular. So what I really love about this work is that every time I sit down to make something, I know it's not going to be the same as the last one I made. It might have a similar basis, starting point, but it most definitely does not follow any hard and fast rules. And I really admire those people that can, potters, for example, who can make the same pot or the same mug or the same place time and time again. I mean, there's such skill in being able to do that. And I guess my temperament, which is pretty impatient most of the time, something I'm working on, doesn't allow me to do that, because for me, what I find is the most inspiring part is the creatively designing of it. And once I've done that, I'm really not interested in producing another one the same. And that's probably why, you know, my work takes so long to do, and nothing is repeated, nothing is the same, everything is very individual. But I love, you know, I love it that you can buy a set of dinner plates that are so beautifully made, so beautifully crafted, and everyone is all, I guess, almost identical to the previous one. I mean, it's such a skill. I can't even begin to think how, you know, what sort of brain you need to be able to do that. And it's the same with, you know, knitting or well, anything, clothes making, just anything that requires a repetitive mindset. You know, there's something very meditative about it. But for me, it's just, I just haven't got that kind of brain to sit down and repeat something over and over again. I mean, I was even thinking about it the other day when I did my degree in textile design, and when I was at college, and I kind of majored, if that's the right word, in weaving. But the course was quite an industrial based course, so it was with a view to getting a job within the industry. So you would be required to work to a very tight budget, a very tight design brief and what have you. And you know, by the end of the course I thought, oh god, no, this is not for me. To be able to, for somebody to give me the instructions that we need a wallpaper or a length of fabric or something specific to a brief, just kind of left me cold. But what I used to do, and this is kind of what got me on this thought, was that I would design a piece that would be jacquard woven, jacquard loom woven, which is the original kind of computer looms. Basically you had a piece of cardboard, and you know, according to your design, you punched holes where the heddles would lift, and you know, then the shuttle would go across, and then the heddles would lift a different one, and it was kind of like on a big roll. And this loom was huge, fantastic to work with. But my problem was that once I had designed it, and once I'd punched out all the holes in the bits of cardboard to you know, to make the design, I didn't want to do the weaving because that was the boring bit as far as I was concerned, just sitting there pedaling, you know, onto the next bit of cardboard with the holes in it and the heddles changing and sticking the shuttle through. So I used to pay the first years you know, 10 quid or whatever it was, I can't really remember, it's such a long time ago, to do the mundane work for me, because that's kind of not where my brain is at all. And actually what happened at the end of it is that I found I didn't want to go into industry. I did a stint at Courtaulds because I won one of their international prizes, bursaries. I also worked for name forgets, down in Ledbury, Oates. I keep wanting to say Daryl and that's a band or something. Roger Oates, that was it. And a couple of other small studios, and I just found that just wasn't where my head was at all. I just loved the designing of something, working out the colorways, doing sample pieces and what have you. And my head is very much in the, okay, now I've done that, I need to move on to the next thing. So this is where I'm going with my medicine dolls. It's kind of how I got into it in the first place, because everyone requires me to be in a different headspace. Everyone requires me to approach it differently. So sometimes I might use incredible sticks like this that just had a feeling of wings, or her arms were about to turn into wings. And I just love her. She just kind of like is floating off into space. Yeah, and I was working with the wool because I bought some wool from an exhibition in Llanidloes where somebody was selling their unwashed, which is gorgeous because you've got this wonderful deep lanolin smell, which I really love. And I was just thinking, how can I use it? Well, I've got 2 huge bags of this wool. Shall I do some spinning? I might do some later. But I thought, no, I really want to make an earthy spirit doll, medicine doll, you know, and work through this thing of me being a little bit ungrounded at times, hence the wings or the arms floating off. But the sheep's wool, with its just smells of fields and grass and that's keeping me really grounded. So it was a lovely medicine doll to work with, this one. I just she's got such a serene face, which isn't always me. It is when I'm working, actually. I kind of go into a bit of a trance, but yeah, she's lovely, and so very different from this one, which, as I say, is an ancestor doll. So I was working with the energies of an ancestor whilst I was making this one, and they kind of speak to you as you're working. That's the joy of these medicine dolls, is that often you get an insight while you're working. So for me, I just started using the wool, and it was, I need to keep myself grounded instead of always trying to take off into the next adventure. Anyway, so that's where I was this morning, as I was making some, I'm going to make, I'm tearing up a sheet that I found upstairs. I'm going to make some little pouches that I can put some wormwood and mugwort herbs in to take to this workshop that this circle that I'm holding on the 11th of July in Llanidloes. So if you haven't seen anything about it and you are local to me, please get in touch, because I've got a couple of places left. I think we're almost there, but it'd be nice to have a full quota, if you like. I don't hold big circles. I mean, 10 max usually, and I think I'm up to 8 people at the moment, so a couple more would be very welcome. So I'm going to make some pouches so that the wonderful ladies that are coming can either use the herbs to put in her doll, and you can do that by putting them in with a stuffing, or they could keep them in this little bag and use it as a herb pillow, so that when they're sleeping, they might have some insights about the spirit doll they're making. So those were my thoughts today, which were kind of, as usual, a little bit rambly and a little bit intuitive. So I'm going to carry on doing that today, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Please do give me a thumbs up if you find some useful tips or hints or amusement or whatever from my videos, because it really does help, and each subscription just bumps me up a little bit, and I've become quite stagnant. I had a good energetic start when I started this channel, but it's kind of slowed a bit, and I think it's, for whatever reason, it's people aren't seeing my videos pop up in their feed or what have you. So a thumbs up and a subscribe really helps me. So okay, have a lovely day. It's a little bit cooler today, perfect weather, not too hot, not too cold. I can actually be in my shed and get things sorted. So catch you all soon. Ciao for now.